You know that feeling when you're walking alone at night and the hair on the back of your neck just stands up? That feeling like you're not really alone? Well, there's this old belief that some hours of the night don't actually belong to us. They belong to something else. And tonight we're going to Kolkata's famous Howrah Bridge, where one guy's disbelief was about to get him into some serious, terrifying trouble.
Okay, so there's this concept in folklore called Brahma Muhurta. Basically, it's the hour right before dawn, around 3:30 a.m. And you can think of it like this. It's a supernatural power surge. At 3:30 in the afternoon, spirits are supposedly at their absolute weakest. But 3:30 in the morning? Whoa, that's their prime time. That's when they're at their most powerful. It's pretty much the one time you really, really don't want to find yourself in the wrong place.
So let's set the scene. We're at the legendary Howrah Bridge. If you've ever seen pictures of Kolkata, you know this bridge. During the day, it's the absolute beating heart of the city, just teeming with life. But at night, well, at night, it becomes a place people only whisper about. And tonight, it's going to be the classroom for a young skeptic named Anish. He was about to get a lesson he'd never forget. A lesson that some urban legends are very, very real.
Right, so pretty much everyone in the area avoided the bridge after dark. They all knew the stories. But our guy Anish? Nah, he wasn't buying any of it. To him, all these ghost stories were just a convenient lie. He figured it was just drug addicts making up spooky tales to keep people away and get some privacy. See, Anish had a simple, rational explanation for everything, and man, was he itching to prove everyone wrong. And he got his chance to prove it a lot sooner than he thought, just not quite in the way he'd planned. It all started with a late-night phone call from his best friend Sanju. The offer was exciting, for sure, but the details, let's just say they were a little weird.
So Sanju had this awesome surprise for him, a wrestling lesson Anish had always wanted to learn. The instructor's name was Shobita, and the location was, yep, you guessed it, right under the Howrah Bridge. But here's the catch, the really weird part. The lesson was scheduled for 3:30 a.m. Sandra just brushed it off, saying it was some old tradition to start training during Brahma Muhurta, and even though it was super weird, Anish was too excited to say no. I mean, a wrestling lesson? He was in.
So there he is. Anish gets on his bike and starts riding through the sleeping city. And if you know Calcutta, you know the streets are never silent. But tonight, they were. Just dead quiet. All he could hear was the hum of his own tires on the pavement. It was just him, surrounded by this heavy, pre-dawn darkness that felt like it was literally swallowing the light from the street lamps as he got closer and closer to the bridge. Okay, so he finally gets to the bridge and finds the stairs leading down to the river. But as he starts to walk down them, that neat, rational world of his, it starts to unravel. This is where the real creepiness begins. He sees this old man sitting by the stairs just having a drink. As Anish walks by, the man mutters something super cryptic to him. Anish stops, turns around to ask him, "Hey, what did you just say?" But the old man was just gone. Vanished. Poof. The only thing left was an empty bottle on the ground. Anish just shook his head, trying to rationalize it. It's late, he thought. My mind's playing tricks on me.
Anyway, he gets to the bottom of the stairs and there's nothing there. I mean, absolutely nothing. No wrestling ring, no instructor, no other people. Just the dark river and a whole lot of silence. Right away, he thinks, Sanju, he's pulling a prank on me, a big one.
He's totally annoyed, about to turn around and leave, when he hears it. A splash. He looks over, and there she is. A woman, standing all by herself at the edge of the water, just tossing stones into the river, one after another. And he's thinking, okay, she must be in on Sanju's prank. So he walks up to her, and right from the get-go, their conversation is just unsettling. He asks her if she's the instructor, Shobita, and all she does is kind of echo his words back at him. Like, Shobita. Yes, I am Shobita. She was answering him, but not really, It just felt off. Something was really wrong. Anish is completely creeped out at this point. He's thinking, all right, I've had enough of this. He turns to leave, and then his phone rings. And let me tell you, this phone call is about to blow his entire reality to pieces and show him the horrifying truth about who or what he's been talking to. It's Sanju,
But he's not calling to laugh about some prank. Nope. He's calling to tell Anish that the instructor, Shobita, had to cancel. The lesson was off for tonight. It was moved to tomorrow. And then Sanju's voice gets all confused and he asks, "Wait a second. If the instructor canceled, who are you with right now?"
And just like that, this cold dread just washes over Anish. He slowly turns back to look at the woman, who's just standing there with her back to him. He walks up to her, puts a hand on her shoulder, and asks the question that's just screaming inside his head.
And that's when the woman turned around.
Her face was a total nightmare. Where her eyes were supposed to be, there was nothing, just empty gaping holes. And blood. Blood was just streaming down from them like tears. Anish was just frozen, paralyzed by a kind of fear he didn't even know was possible. Then this creature pointed a finger toward the dark river. Its voice was this horrible whisper that didn't seem to come from her mouth, but just echoed right inside his skull. And it gave him a command. Anish couldn't help it. His eyes followed where she was pointing. And right there, breaking the surface of the water, a single, pale hand rose up, and it was beckoning to him. He felt this hypnotic pull, like he had no choice. He wasn't in control anymore, as he just started walking, one step after another, right into that cold, dark water.
He's already halfway in, the water up to his waist, that hand just inches from his own, when another voice cuts through the haze and shatters the spell. This was it. This was his one and only chance to escape a curse he was literally seconds away from becoming a part of. It was the old man, the one from the stairs. He was shouting Anish's name. Anish just snapped out of it, back to reality. But as he tried to scramble back, he felt something grab his leg, an iron grip, clamping on from under the water, pulling him down with this unbelievable force. Somehow, the old man managed to drag him out, and as Anish is just lying there on the riverbank, gasping for air, the old man finally tells him the whole story, the legend. He says the spirit of a woman who drowned right here haunts the spot. She begs people to help, to save her from the water. But it's all a trick, a lure. Anyone who steps into that river gets pulled under to join her, and their body is never, ever found. You can imagine, this experience it broke Anish. He couldn't get that eyeless face out of his head. He saw it everywhere, not just at the bridge, but in his own house, in his dreams. The terror was so deep that within a single week, he and his entire family packed up everything they owned and just left. They fled Kolkata, the city they'd called home their whole lives, and they never went back. And that, of course, brings us to the final, chilling warning of this whole story. For all we know, that spirit is still there, waiting under the Howrah Bridge for her next victim. It's just a terrifying reminder, isn't it? When you're in a deserted place, you have to be so careful, because sometimes the most dangerous ghosts are the ones that look exactly like living, breathing people. So that just leaves us with one last really unsettling question to think about. The next time you're alone somewhere, a quiet street, a deserted park, and a stranger comes up to talk to you, how can you ever be sure who or what you're really talking to?